Yeah, now stand and cheer for your Talking Basketball podcast. Welcome back to this episode. This is the second part of a double header. If you haven't heard the first, go back and listen to it. If you can't be bothered, that's all right. Just keep listening to this one, and hopefully you enjoy it. And don't forget, like and subscribe. I hate it when people say that.
Well, while you were saying that, before you say your thing, I've got a thing for you.
Oh.
I looked one thing up about Australian basketball, and it was just relating to something we talked about before. When did they acknowledge the three-point line?
Oh, I don't know, Mark.
Well, it actually says here.
On the 4th of October, 1923.
Players who earned scoring titles before 1984 season did not record any 3 points because the three-point line was only implemented in the 1984 season.
Is that worldwide, is it?
No, that was in Australia. So Australia acknowledged the three-point line in 1984. If you remember, it was 1979 in the NBA that the three-point line was actually brought up.
Oh, wow.
So, that's only a 4 or 5 year sort of span.
Yeah.
But I thought that was great because you said, obviously, where the 36ers went back into the early 80s, that's when they came from. They would have been there at the beginning when the three-point line was there. The reason I was wondering that was because I wondered if they had a court that they had to, add the three-point line to. Because Australia was one of those countries that were governed by FIBA. And I think it was 2010 or 2011, FIBA changed the three-point line. So we changed it in the UK for a while, I think, as well. And they made it come out further, so it was more like the American one, but it was only at the front it came out, not on the sides. So the sides were narrower, but the front was longer.
Yeah, you just shoot from the sides, didn't you?
Yeah, so then people went, and so then they went, right, we'll make it bigger all the way around. And then that didn't work, so they sort of shrunk it kind of a bit back, so it's not quite as big now as America, but still bigger than it was, or bigger than college, I think. But yeah, I was curious when they started following that pattern for the courts.
Is that similar to the NBA?
Yeah, well, it's only like 4 years back from that seasoning,
okay.
So that's not too bad. But also,
there you
you got to think that's like early 80s. So, obviously there was a lot of development in Australia over the 80s, 90s with all of the infrastructure and everything as they're building. So that's pretty interesting, I thought.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, you'll be shocked about when I tell you this about Adelaide 36ers and their home support. Their first basket was cheered at certain volume.
Okay.
Their second basket is cheered at the same volume.
Yeah.
In the middle of the game, that basket is cheered at the set. They are up for it the whole time.
Really?
Yeah, it's not like, do you know when someone scores and you get, it's like someone scores, it's like, yeah, they're well up for it. Obviously, I know when you get to the fourth quarter and it gets excited, the volume's going to get louder. But that's what I loved about the home support for the Adelaide 36ers. It goes in, they freaking cheer it. Like we've been to NBA games. I don't want, shall I say the team name? But we've been to NBA games where goes up for tip and half the arena walk out.
Yeah.
Like, let's go get food. And we're like, what? This is a bit weird. Why is that?
Yeah.
And they all come back for the fourth quarter. You don't get that. Like, it is, the volume just stays the same.
I think they did that in Memphis, didn't they?
I'll tell you what.
And that was ironic because that was the first year that Jay Morant was playing. But at that time, he was not as, I won't say sensational as he was, but he was only starting his Rookie of the Year sort of quest.
I'm going to give you an idea of the volume. And don't forget, this is recorded on my phone.
Okay.
So
this could go horribly wrong.
This is the Magpie. You can see that, don't you? So he gets his own intro. That's good, isn't it?
That's nice with the Titantron and everything going
And this
round.
is the players coming out. Right, that's on my phone, and that's loud on this podcast.
Okay,
isn't it?
now I have a question. So, when you did the media day, before you were talking about when we took going back to the games now, you got a chance to see behind the scenes, which, you know, obviously we do the podcast, but you also do the announcing for Portsmouth Force.
Yeah.
So, you got to look at who does what and how that sort of works in that sort of game. So,
Yeah.
how does it work? Do you have like one person doing music, one person doing commentary, one person doing?
I saw a glimpse.
Yeah,
I saw a glimpse. So I didn't see loads. I didn't see loads of things. So I saw lots of desks and lots of wires.
occupied by the magpie.
What I did see is I managed to go on the Adelaide court, and this was
On the actual court.
yeah, on the actual court.
Springy?
So
Springy?
not as much as an NBA floor. Like, do you know when you walk on like
Yeah, it
the
feels
court
like
and you're like, oh man, I've got an extra
bounce in there,
few
isn't it? Yeah.
inches.
That's what she said.
And I didn't feel that on that court, but it was a very nice floor.
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it?
It is extremely nice floor. Maybe the Americans are cheating with a little bit of extra bounce on that, Mark.
They have super bouncy floor. There's no question of that.
But what was an absolute honor, and I'll be honest, I was acting as cool as I can be around this guy, but inside I was just like, holy crap, I just met John Casey.
Oh, wow.
He is the voice of Australia, and you would have heard him. Everyone here listening would have heard him. So he's a commentator, obviously in basketball, and you would have heard him commentate basketball, almost certainly in the Sydney Olympics.
Okay.
Where he was commentating basketball, football, and I think boxing. So
That's cool.
Dale was like, oh yes, he's the voice of Australia. I didn't put two and two together, and he said John Casey. And as John's talking to me, I'm like, it's really clicking who you are now. Wow, this is an honor. I mean, this guy goes back to the 80s. I mean, he was over in the UK working with Sky. He used to be doing tennis and with Wimbledon, golf, football, F1. So he was all over Sky. He was working, I think, when he went back to Australia, I think it was Fox Sports where he was doing it. So he is.
Not supposed to bump into, isn't it?
I will go as far as to say, like, he is an idol as far as a journalist and what he's accomplished. And it was one of the things I was talking to him about was, how does a journalist become a commentator in basketball? Because for me, that is like commentating basketball. That's as good as it gets, right? On live TV. God, it doesn't get better than that. And I'm like, and he was just telling me about his journey and stuff. And it was like, I was actually, as he was talking, I was thinking, this would be amazing for the podcast, but I'm really trying to stay professional here and not say, John, please, can you come on the podcast? But it was an absolute honor to meet him. And I didn't say, this is the first time I've actually said this. I haven't told this to anyone, but personally, that was one of the highlights for me on that day, meeting someone of his experience, his caliber. I'm even getting nervous saying this. Look at my hand, getting nervous saying this, but it was on the Adelaide floor as well. And he wasn't just like, oh right, how you doing? Yeah. He got up, walked out of his seat, and came and stood on the court floor, and you're talking to him.
Wow.
And it was an absolute honor. And my voice is even going all shaky. I don't know how to say it. Bloody hell. It was just a great experience. Someone of his magnitude
John is listening to this now going, suck it up, Mary. Come
I
on.
was just like going, holy crap. But I was really trying to act cool because, again, I was trying to stay professional. And you know what it's like when you're in these positions, you are with people who inside you're like, let's say you meet Michael Jordan, you're like, holy crap, Michael Jordan. And most people go, can I have a picture? Can I have an autograph or something like that? And it's like, you know what? You got to move yourself away from that and just, I like having that moment, that memory of
Mr. Jordan.
Hello,
Mr. Jordan.
Yeah.
Mr. Jordan. I wouldn't be with the person who tries to go, I'm going to go super cool and go, you all right, Mike?
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Hey, yeah, it's just Mike over there. Like, no, that's not happening. That's Mr. Jordan. Done.
Well, the voice of Australia, John Casey. So that was that was a real,
very, very cool.
As a real honour, and like everyone listening, you've heard him commentate.
And was he? So what was he there? Was he there professionally or?
Yeah, no, he was commentating the game.
So
I
that's
think
what he was...
I don't know. I'm assuming for Fox or whatever it was on live TV. I'm guessing Fox, but yeah, he was commentating the game. And you know what? What I like about that interaction was, in life you meet people and they can give you a little bit of themselves with time, if that makes sense.
Yes.
They can go, hi, how are you? Yeah, not too bad. Great to meet you. See you later. You go, okay, that's an interaction you're going to have with millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have an interaction where it's like, it just goes a bit further than that. And, oh, you got family over here. Okay, we're going a bit deep. And then start talking about, well, how did you get in the game? He's like, oh, wow. And then there's a few references I made to the 80s. And then he was going into it. And then he's giving me advice about how you can progress to be able to do something like that, and telling me that everybody's journey is different.
Yeah.
And when he was asking me questions, he actually looked like he gave a crap about my answer that I made.
No,
and that's what
really
I really
cool.
liked about that. Great experience. And that was, one of the day's highlights for me. Not a 10-second, hi, how are you? Like standing talking to him for 5-10 minutes.
So he's doing the commentating as in like the play-by-play commentating.
Yeah, what you see on TV.
That's hard. I've always watched that and appreciated the fact that, whether it's Murray Walker F1 or anyone like that, even someone who's playing cricket where it's maybe a slower pace, I think you've got to be so on top of all the stats. You've got to have all the sheets. You've got to have all the information, haven't you? So that whatever happens, you can go, oh, that's the 5th time he's done that. Oh, that's the 2nd time that's happened. Or
yeah, well, these guys, I mean, it was also seeing the level of professionalism, the way they come to the game. Like I was telling you, the guys. I can
see your little sheet over here.
Yeah, well, the guy's name escapes me now, but they were doing where I was watching the game, they were doing the live commentating on the for the radio, and it was one of the most, and I really wish I could remember his name. I should have wrote it down. One of the most professional commentating bits of work that I've had the privilege to sit next to and listen.
Yeah.
It was like the level of detail he was going into, of information he was giving people, not on the play, but things like he'd be talking about, like as an example, I've got here Adelaide #1, Trenton Flowers. So he was talking about during the game, potential future NBA star.
Okay.
See, this guy's an American, and he turned his back on Louisville University.
Okay.
And it was just giving you that information during the commentating in the most professional way I've ever heard in my life.
Just like dropping it in, but
effortlessly.
Yeah.
Absolute effortlessly. And I've shown you, took a picture of his notes.
Yeah, that's the one you sent me with the highlight bits. Yeah.
I really wish I could find his name. I'm sure I wrote it down, but I can't see it. But I said to him afterwards, I shook his hand because he was live on the radio, so I couldn't really talk to him until the game finished and all that. And I just shook his hand and said, that was an absolute pleasure listening to you work, sir. Thank you very much. And he was a bit taken back, like, really? Like, this is kind of day in, day out for me. But, you know, when you're doing that for years and years and years, you know, you're going to master your craft. He definitely had mastered it.
You probably don't get that when you're doing that day in, day out. Not as he's complacent, but if he's doing it on the radio, he's often probably quite detached from the listener. So he's talking and he's putting stuff out there, but he doesn't get that direct someone going, wow, man, that was cool.
Yeah, and I wasn't even sure. Again, just trying to keep the professionalism. Did I want to say it? But then I thought, you know what? It's good to do something well and someone appreciate your work. So I thought, nah, screw it.
It's always nice if someone tells you something good.
Yeah.
There's never a bad time for that.
And yeah, it was a real honor listening to him. So where I was sat, I had the radio guys, there's 3 of them doing the commentating to my left. So during the game, again, it is super, super loud, but I'm half getting commentary because you're sat quite close to each other.
Yeah.
So I'm half getting commentary, and so it's almost like I was watching the game going, like, yeah, that's a great shot. Yeah, okay, Trent. Oh, right, he's from Louisville University. Oh, right, yeah, okay. So it's great, but it is so loud that you're getting snippets of the information from the crowd. And then to my right, I had Dale. So what Dale was doing was updating in real time the actual match report itself that goes out all on the website and stuff like that. So I thought that was really interesting because laptop's there. Guys just hit, this is going to affect the game, blah, blah, blah. And I actually asked him.
So Dale's word per minute's right up there then.
Well, it's not volume. It's just quality, I think, with that. Like, a quarter might go past and you might get 2 small paragraphs or 3 sentences. But I did ask him, and I don't think he'll mind me saying this. But I was like, Dale, can I ask you a question? He's like, yeah. I was like, have you ever written a report for the game and then you've written a good chunk of it before? Not before, but, you know, near the start, you've watched like the first quarter and gone, oh, this is over. And you've pretty much finished your report. And then you get to the last 5 minutes of the game and all hell breaks loose and you've got to rewrite your report. And he's like, yeah, I have. And he goes, you have. He was like, it happens a few times. You just go Control A, select all, delete, rewrite real quick.
Yeah, you know, you say that it's funny, but actually a lot of basketball games come down to that Q4, and there's been a couple of games, not just in our BBL but in the NBA of the last few weeks that people have had that, where it's that Q4, suddenly they were 5 points down, now they're 12 points up, and the whole tone of the game has completely changed. So yeah, you would have to rewrite that whole article, wouldn't you? The whole tone of the article was going to be...
Yeah. Well, I thought that was great. And you know what? That's what I liked about Dale. He was... the hospitality that he showed me there, I was just extremely grateful for. And, you know, any question I had, he was very, very open, and it was, you know, great. Again, having that curtain just pull back a bit from an Australian perspective. But what I absolutely loved, and I really hope someone would do this in the UK. Next to Dale were 2 chaps, and they were doing an alternative commentating / chat.
Right.
So what it was is you have the Adelaide 36ers app. This is my understanding. This is Dale saying this to me while the crowd are going nuts. So I'm half hearing every other word going, okay, I think I got the gist of that. It was loud. And so what happened was you have the Adelaide app that you can download. And I think one of the options on there is you get this alternative channel of these 2 guys talking, but they might not be talking about the game. They might be sitting there going, okay, so during the game, you know, giving their opinion on the players. They could be talking about, you know, the Kangaroos coming into town.
So they come into the town.
You know, whatever. But I really like the fact that
I knew they came to town.
I can't. It felt, and I was trying to listen to it a bit. It felt like there might be a bit of a comedic edge to that show, which I loved about that. Where you got two guys going,
It's a
"Oh
great
my
idea to
god, he's just throwing a brick up. My mum could shoot better than that."
Yeah.
Stuff like that, which you wouldn't get, John Casey say, or the guy on the radio.
No, that's a really. I mean, look. Let's be fair. It's not a million miles away of what we would do if we were commentating in the game. I know you like to keep everything very professional, above board. I maybe not so much, but
I'd like an alternative version every now and then.
An alternative version. I like the idea of that because of the easy listening aspect of it. When I've always tried to listen to commentary as opposed to watch a game and hear the commentary, with basketball I tend to like watching the game because I like to watch the movement of the players. I find it very difficult to listen to basketball because basketball is such a fast-paced game, whereas other sports you can have commentary, can't you? Like Formula One or racing or something like that. You could quite easily have commentary on that because there's movement, but not as much as often. The frequency of it is of the incidents are much less. Basketball is end to end. By the time you've just finished talking about that thing, they're up the other end and they score.
That's
and
why
maybe
I was
coming back.
so impressed with the guy commentating on the radio next to me, because he is painting that picture for someone on the radio who's not there.
And you were given stats, weren't you? That they.
I bought this. Look, I got this for you. So this was here's an example. So every quarter, someone runs around.
One of the lackeys is let out their cage, and
they
fleet
print
around.
off the box score and go and give it to all the media.
The Adelaide 36ers against
Now,
the Brisbane Bullets, mate.
You know I like my stats, Mark.
I love a stat.
So this guy comes up and goes, "Here you go, here's the box score." And I'm like, "Holy sugar! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about." I can, and you see it in real time. Okay, I can see people's 2-point percentage, 3-point percentage, free throw percentage.
So you've got Q4, that's Q3, Q2.
You get it at the end of every quarter. You get that.
So the first thing I love is you're getting each breakdown of each quarter. So if you get the Q2, you've got 1 and 2, plus you've got the halves. Then the breakdowns.
It breaks it. That's every 5 minutes.
Now, what is that one? Just out of interest on here, there's a. Oh, I can see.
That's points scored per quarter.
Man. Oh, so that says FIBA box score. So they're obviously doing it within a regulation.
Oh, yeah. Like exactly what they do in the BBL.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, this is what I was going to say.
But this is what they're printing out and giving the media. Now,
so that's the question to the BBL then. Is that
are they doing that?
Yeah.
There's no way they're doing that. Then no one's printing that out and giving that to the media. BBL goes, no way. Mark, the professionalism goes up 10 notches in Adelaide. What's great is you've got information being handed to you. So you can be talking about someone who's gone to the line. So here, this guy here. So
I mean, that's in just, sorry, button in. Genius Sports down the bottom there. That is all this powered bit. This is exactly the stuff that the BBL use.
Yeah.
Like that's all on the logos on the side for FIBA. So that's very interesting.
This is what I liked about it was if you look, I don't know if you can see it on whatever quarter you're in, but there's a guy
Q3 on here.
So if you look at number 3, Cal, how many times has he gone to the line?
What, on Adelaide?
For Adelaide, Cal, right at the top.
Yep.
How many times has he gone to the line?
Free throws, 6 or 7.
6 out of 7. Okay, so on mine, I've got the end of the game, 8 out of 9. So 88.9% from the free throw line.
85.7 here. Yeah.
Okay, so but that is absolute invaluable information from a media perspective that you're getting real time. So now when you're watching that basketball game and they're saying, "Right, he's 88.9% from the free throw line. Let's see how he's going to get on here." Well, that's where they got it from. I always assumed for some reason that maybe it was a laptop and they were just like plugged in on the internet or whatever and it was just feeding through. But maybe I actually prefer the piece of paper. I prefer that because you can mark stuff and highlight it. Great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can I just say, for this game, with about a minute and 25 seconds, something like that, the score was 85-85.
Really?
It was a tied game, 85-85. I mean, God, this was 3 weeks ago now, but I think Adelaide were up by like 5 points.
I like that stat. Fast break points.
Yeah.
I like that one. That's a great one, isn't it? Because points from turnovers, yeah, that's good. You'd like to think if you've got an effective offense that your points from turnovers would be good. I mean, you could camp out on these stats all day, couldn't you?
It's the stuff we look at for the BBL.
Can I call someone out on this?
Oh, well, if it's
It's going to be a Brisbane Bullet.
Yeah, do it then.
Yeah. Isaac White, you got to pull your socks up, mate.
Why?
50%.
Oh, actually, look,
In
no,
Q3.
Forget that. You should be able to find out who missed 2 free throws. Okay, it's number 3, Shannon Scott.
Shannon Scott, yeah.
He gave everyone hungry jacks by missing those 2 free throws.
That's what I'm thinking. He's the one who missed it, wasn't he?
Yeah, there you go. But
so you can't be mad at Shannon because everyone's happy they got a burger out of that. But yeah, I mean, you got a couple of 50%ers on the Adelaide team, but I don't know what they were like on Q4. I'm looking down the bottom here. Jacob Wiley and Alex Starling, they were on 1 for 2. Don't know if they got any better.
Well, some of the players that stood out for Adelaide for me, like Trenton Flowers, he's the one that whilst I was there was kind of built up to be a potential NBA next superstar, and there was talk about
It's a great name as well. Got the name for it.
Trenton Flowers, yeah. They were talking about him turning his back on Louisville University to stay and play for the Adelaide 36ers. I would say in the Brisbane game, in the game after Brisbane, he felt like he came out of his shell a little bit more in the Perth game, in my opinion. Just looked like I saw more of him in that game than in the Brisbane game. But there is a guy.
It wasn't many minutes, was there, in the first couple of quarters?
No, I don't know if he picked up fouls. I can't remember. Again, it was.
I know it's going to sound silly, but I like even just looking at the sheet again. I like the fact that it's in number order. So you're going down from low to high in the number order rather than going down by names. It sounds really silly, but then by doing that, you're getting, from a commentating point of view, you're going number 14, Curran Galloway, and you're getting straight in on that's the number, that's the person, that's the number, that's the person, which makes the commentating easier.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were going name order, all the numbers would be jiggled and it would throw you a little bit, just from that quick read point of view.
Well, I mean, for Adelaide, you had, I don't know, again, I was only there for a few games, so I don't know who their main man is, but number 34, Dejan Vasiljevic, I think that's how you say his name, Vasiljevic. I mean, he was pretty unstoppable. He was a point guard, bringing the ball, strong as hell. He's got, he looks like he's got a chip on your shoulder. Do you know those players who look pissed off?
Yeah.
He's like that. I love those players. I really love those players. Just like got a point to prove, and the crowd were definitely behind Vasiljevic. But also, there's a guy, number 8, Isaac Humphries.
Yep.
He's my kind of player. You'd like him. He's a big, does all the dirty work underneath.
Yep.
Again, for the second game I saw in Perth, he started off really well. I think I want to say in the first quarter of the Perth game, he was scoring most of the points. I could be wrong, but he was working his socks off. And then you've got that number 3, Cal. He came alive in the fourth quarter for this game against Brisbane anyway. I'm trying to think back.
I mean, I'm looking at this like just looking at the old Brizzy Bullets.
Wiley. Number 24, Jacob Wiley. Do you know who he reminded me of? I think it was who's the guy who played for Orlando, Gordon, lost the slam dunk competition. Is it Aaron Gordon?
Yeah.
He reminded me of him. Like, his build similar.
Really?
But even the way he moved, I don't know why, it just reminded me of him.
Wow, Gordon's a very athletic guy.
Yeah, this guy's a very athletic guy. Yeah,
Well, right up until he gets bitten by a dog.
he was a great player to watch as well. There is another guy I want to talk about from the Brisbane Bullets, and that is number 11, and that's Rocco Sikarski. Now, this guy walked past me, Mark.
Yeah.
And I said a brief hello.
Yeah.
He's 7'3".
Oh, okay.
So I looked up at him.
Up. Not just up.
So yeah, he's 7'3".
Damn.
17 years old.
Wow.
And they're talking about potentially an NBA next star.
Yeah.
Maybe in the next 2 years. What I thought about him in the first half, definitely, maybe the first three quarters, is like, really? He's big, but like, oh, okay. But then in the fourth, he started doing a few things, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, you're showing you can play now. Like, he didn't have much time. I mean, hang on, this is what's brilliant about this. Number 11. So he only came on for 7 minutes.
Well, that's the third.
7
I'll
minutes.
just put the thing on here, so there's your fourth there.
So 8 minutes. So yeah. So he didn't come on, but for loads of the game, but definitely in the second half, he started just a few little things like big rebound, bam, boom, get out all blocks, and you thought, oh, okay, here you go. But you could still see this kid's 17.
Yeah, but they like the bigs at the moment, don't they? It's funny. Everyone went away from bigs, and like 3 years ago, you had teams openly calling it small ball, where they're saying, yeah, we're going to have all these teams with players that are the tallest players, like 6'8", 6'9", or whatever, like that. They were calling it small ball. Then all of a sudden, everyone wants to have a couple of Wembys on their side and Chet Holmgrens. And
well, I tell you what, you never know. This Sikarski, would you say Sikarski or Sikarski? I'd say ski, maybe. Rocco could be the next NBA star in a few years' time.
Yeah.
I think what he needs, again, this is my humble opinion that has zero value whatsoever, but it looks like he just needs that experience of
court time,
getting beaten up. You know what it's like when you're playing, or back in the day when you're playing, you see a 17-year-old kid, you think, I'm just going to push him the hell around now. Just like, a couple of knocks.
Yeah.
And you usually, maybe at a low, I don't know about that level, you see it and just crumble.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it'll be great to see where his career goes. Trenton Flowers, it'll be great to see where his career goes. But out of everyone, those were the two that were standout players for those two teams that could end up in the NBA. Someone you would like to see over
where were those teams like in relation to Adelaide in the leagues?
Adelaide were... Sorry, I think I've answered one of your questions wrong. So there are 10 teams in the league.
Yeah.
Adelaide are 10th.
Yeah.
Brisbane Bullets are 7th.
Yeah. And the other game you watched was Perth, wasn't it?
The Perth Wildcats, and they were... I think they were 4th in the league.
Okay.
They were 4th in the league, and they had a guy who was... I don't know, I can't remember his name, but I will guarantee he's an American. Just by his mannerisms, it was like, this guy's an American. It was quite funny. I think he hit a three and got a foul, and he was like looking at the crowd going, yeah, what, man, what? Or something like that. And I was like, oh God, he's an American player, isn't he? But he was the MVP of the league last season, was my understanding.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's going to be difficult to search it now, but yeah. But they lost. That was the second game that I took, like I had a lot of people with and had the kids with me. And they lost that by maybe like 15, 14.
Okay, it's not complete hammering, is it? But
no, but, and let me find this out, because this just came in the other day whilst I was in bed. Suffering.
anytime today.
Trying to find it. Here we go. Right.
It's all right. I've got nowhere to be tonight. It's fine.
Good.
Growing older.
So, I don't know where it'd be, maybe Saturday. Last Saturday just gone.
Yeah.
There was a home game for Adelaide and Melbourne. So that's what I was just looking. Melbourne United. Top of the league.
Melbourne United.
Melbourne? I know.
No, United.
Oh, no, Mark.
No, not even that. Just
Mark, every
trash
single
name.
I'm telling you now, every single person in Adelaide who's listening to this is going to be paying attention to what you say now, and I think they're going to like what you say. So you think Melbourne United is a crap name?
I think it's just a trash name.
Trash.
Yeah.
So the Melbourne United.
I know it's Melbourne, but yeah.
The Melbourne. So Melbourne took on, they came and took Adelaide on. Melbourne are at top of the table.
Yeah.
36ers at bottom. 36ers claim the win.
Did they?
By 4 points.
Wow. They did a Patriots London Lions and
Yeah.
bottom took the top.
What it was really, really cool was I saw it and I thought, wow, that's a great idea. Where it was something like the year the team won the championship, they had this like kit on, and then for the game where they were playing Melbourne, they were going to be wearing that championship kit, which was like 20 years ago, but it was like, yeah, we're wearing the retro championship kit. So they wore the retro championship kit. Boom! Melbourne, 4 points, lose.
Oh, that's tricky. Because then for the next game, whether you're into it or not, a lot of sports people are pretty superstitious about stuff like that. So they wore the retro kit, and they knocked the people. They beat the people at the top. They'd be sitting there thinking,
your hat is the retro logo on it.
Love it.
So this
that.
is the new one. I think it was somewhere here.
Yeah, it's very, very, very cool like that.
Oh, look, if we're promoting Adelaide, you might as well say this as well. Hang on, this is on the back. Someone, whilst I was over there, someone went, oh, that's the university I went to. Hang on, you say this name.
Please insert here. Oh, no, Flinders University.
Flinders.
Like the fact it says fantastic on the back of your shirt.
Yep.
Fantastic, mate.
There you go. They're sponsoring Adelaide 36ers.
I've got to say, I prefer 36ers to Sixers. In the same way, I prefer Philadelphia 76ers to just the Sixers. I just prefer that. I don't know
what they write down is they write 36 ERS.
Yeah, I prefer 36ers to just Sixers. The same as I don't like this. I like 76ers. It's something about it. I don't like Sixers on its own, but I like the colours of the kit. Very retro, very
look,
almost Detroitish.
You know what we should do? We should put these box scores up on the board as well. Look, we should have a little thing of everywhere we go.
Well, I've got the poster over there.
You got the post, and you got the big 3 finger.
Pardon?
Big celebrating they've scored a 3-pointer.
Yep, they're right there.
Yeah,
we're gonna make a mural. I'm gonna do something with the walls.
But look, 85 with a minute 20 or whatever it was left. And the final score. Oh, where is it? You marked up my paper, Mark.
I did not.
I'll go to the one on the bottom. Of course it is. Final score was 95-88.
Oh wow! So they really held off their score.
And let me play this. This was. I mean, look. This is the noise in the game, and this is what I mean by the crowd. This is right at the start of the game. Here you go. So this is the start. That's loud, isn't it?
I mean, it's worth saying to like anyone listening, like this is Paul's phone speaker. This isn't hooked up to the Bluetooth or anything. This is just literally coming out the, I won't say the tinny, but the small iPhone kind of speaker. So. That was loud.
Well, and this is in the game, and this is a guy scoring. He gets a rebound, gets a layup. It's loud, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
That's in the game.
that's what it should be. It's bringing an atmosphere.
But like in England, we're like, shh.
Well,
We want purist basketball.
Yeah, but I've got a theory on that. If everyone did it, it'd be fine. But because there's only one or maybe two teams that even want to do or have done or try and do anything like that, I won't say there's not an inconsistency, but then the refs are like, well, hang on a minute, that's an obvious home advantage, which then may be where the whole...
Yeah, but I don't understand why in England we have this thing of, oh, you can't have an advantage. You can't be disrespectful. Not disrespectful, but it's like you said, here's our home team. There's the away team. Done. Like,
yeah.
I'm not being disrespectful to them, but why am I going to go, guys, let's give them all a clap. Come on.
Yeah,
it's like,
no other sporting does that. And
we don't do it for football.
I was about to say
definitely don't do it for football.
I know. And if you're going to say what's the number one sport in England, it's going to be football. And they definitely don't do it for that. And the only thing I think they're close with is, we've both been to rugby games, and rugby's a different thing altogether because you'll have two people, and rugby is very much like a gentleman's game, it's a thug's game paid by gentlemen, so to speak, isn't it? That's what I always say. But you'll have people on opposing teams sat next to each other.
Yeah.
And it's a really good spirit and it's a really good atmosphere and everything like that. You can't do that in football. But you can do that. You can do that in rugby and stuff like that, which is ironic because that's a contact sport, and yet everyone's sat there and it's okay.
My son was sat next to me for one of the games.
Yeah,
and I've taken him to Fratton Park quite a lot. So he's used to.
That's the local, football team here.
Yeah,
in Portsmouth,
and that's 20,000 fans watching a football game, and a football game. This is for anyone listening in Adelaide is. Quite aggressive at Fratton Park. It's got a reputation for being quite vocal. Fans very close to the pitch.
It's an old stadium,
intimidating. Atmosphere
because it's a very closed stadium, isn't it? And because it's small and compact, the noise is just all focused on the pitch. There's nowhere to hide. Whereas if you're in, is it Man United and places, they're like 70,000 people or something crazy like that.
I think.
That you're so far away from it. That the players are like, well, we can hear it, but the actual crowds are quite quiet because the tickets are very expensive and all those sort of things. So actually, the atmosphere isn't there in the same way.
Well, this is what made me laugh. So one of my sons was sat next to me, and you had in the seat in front of us, just to the left a bit, you had some Perth fans, and Perth scored, and they went, "Yay!" And he was like, "What? Sure!" I was like, "Whoa, no! Like, you're allowed to do it. Like, everyone's cool. Like, we're not at Fratton Park anymore. Like, relax, chill out." So they were giving these clapper handings.
Oh yes, I heard,
one of those.
Yeah.
Anyway, so every time Perth scored, he kind of just rattled it by this person's head. But it was like, chill.
Some kind of like nice conservative hate crime.
But look, I want to play you a few more clips. This is, what is the score? 95-88. I think at this point, it was really close. I think Adelaide have just hit a 3, something like that. They've just hit a big shot and they've gone up by 5 at this point. Timeout gets called. Crowd are going nuts. Oh, I think they had a 7-point lead at that point, so everyone's like game over.
Well, I hope they have the Spotify license for that.
And then this is the end of the game. This is the actual end of the game. This is the crowd. Hang on. Oh, I just played the same clip, haven't I?
Classy. Well done.
Oh, it is the same clip. Oh, it's the same music, but it's at the end. Look, that is on my phone that I just did that. So you can hear the sound. Imagine that, like having conversations when you're close to the court is a bit more challenging. Now, when you're further back, probably a bit easier because all the speakers are pointing down. Can I say, hell, I just forgot all about this.
Right.
All about this. So I was pretty much courtside for the first game I went to on my own. When I took the kids there, whatever seats I could get, we were sat. The most comfortable seats I have ever sat in my life at a basketball game. Not even close would be second place. It was like padded, like proper cushion, padded seats. I sat down and was like, bloody hell, it's just VIP. What's going on? Like, it would be what you would expect VIP seats in America. And we were like row M.
Oh, wow.
Great, wasn't it? I don't know how far back that was. It would be, the tiers are slightly different. In America, you've got lower bowl, upper bowl.
Was there a lot of you mentioned about sitting, was there a lot of people getting up from the seats and stuff? Because, when we've gone to games, there are, like you said, some games where it's like, right, everyone's stepping off, and then every now and again, people are just getting up and wandering down and going and getting food and stuff. You get that a little bit, of course you do, because people need to do and all that stuff, but when the game was playing, it sounds like most people were there and engaged with the game.
Yeah, you can hear the volume.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It sounded like there wasn't much, like in the quarters and the breaks like that. Did a lot of people leave and go and get concessions and stuff, or did you find that actually still people floated?
People were just doing it when they needed to do it.
Yeah.
I'm hungry, I'll go get something. It was kind of like that. Yeah,
because that's one of the things from the games that I was always shocked me was that you get to like maybe the fourth quarter, and if it's like 25 points down or something, people are going home, and you go, dude, you can still watch it. Like, someone might come out and do like the dunk of the year. You're going to totally miss it because you've decided to go home because they haven't won.
Yeah, well, I think that there's famous ones, isn't there, where like Pacers and Knicks playing each other, then people are like going, oh yeah, we won, and they're like, what? You just lost. Like, you shouldn't have left. But no, look, it was, and I'm not saying this, it was the most comfortable seat I have ever sat in, and it was a Ronnie Random seat in the upper bowl somewhere.
Did you have your little drink holder in the front?
There wasn't a drink holder.
You liked your little drink holder and all that.
That was great, wasn't it? Beers, boom, boom, boom. But no, it was a comfortable seat. A bit like where we are now in the booths.
Yeah.
It was just really well padded, cushioned, big, lots of room, and it was like, wow, Matt, look, they got a lot of room in Australia.
Yeah, they do.
They can.
So is the stadium like? I won't say in the city, but is it more suburbs, or is it actually closer to in the city sort of thing?
I do not know the graphical area of Adelaide where things are, but I think it is just on the outside of the city.
Yeah.
No, it's in Adelaide, but it's I think it's on one of the outskirts. Is my understanding.
When we did the Detroit thing, one of the things was you had the Palace in Auburn Hills, but it was in Auburn Hills, which at the time was in the suburban.
Yeah.
So that was quite a big deal because it was the first place that was, and then they brought it back into the sort of city, where more and more coming back into the city sort of thing.
No, it is in the city, but it's just on the outskirts, is my understanding.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's the biggest problem for the UK by a country mile. I think you could get 4,000 or 5,000 people to a game if you had proper stadium facilities.
And this is why I think the BBL are doing the right thing, because they are not letting every team that wants to join the BBL come in.
Yeah.
And they're doing that because they don't want teams to come in and then leave. They want to build those teams up and go, right, if those 10 teams have what London Lions have got, we're ready to go. Like, you're getting that, and it will build from there.
Well, I guess the NBL as well, because Australia are geographically where they are in the world, they are, I won't say the island of one, but they are their own pyramid of one. They're not playing internationally against very close local teams, should we say. The same way like London could play Paris, and it's like an hour on a flight sort of thing.
No, I think like
it's a 5-hour flight from Perth to Sydney or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
well, when I can only comment between Adelaide and Sydney, but it was like a 2-hour flight.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're on a 2-hour flight, or you're on a coach for 2 days, or whatever it would be.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a day.
So they are doing their own thing in that challenge. That's a challenge in itself, because you've got time zones, you've got that amount of travel and everything to do.
They've got a player you would love to see in the NBL. I'm only assuming he's still playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ex-Dallas Mavs. Is it? Deladona? What's he called? Guard. Point guard. Won the championship. He was the one who...
I forgot his name.
The Laker player took out, wasn't he?
Yep. You just said it.
Delavadona, something like that.
Yeah. You butchered his name. And
Yeah,
now
I know.
I just can't think of what his name is, because all I can hear is Deladona. God. But yeah.
Him. He plays over there. I don't know who he plays for. But,
I
you
mean-
know, you're getting ex-NBA players going over there. I think they're going back at the end of their NBA career, and they're Australian, and they're going over there.
Well, look, you see it with European players. You see a lot of the European players, they go play in the NBA, and then they'll go do a last tour in like one of the Spanish leagues or something like that.
Or if you're Dennis Rodman, Brighton.
If you're Dennis Rodman, yeah, you just think,
He came to England, didn't he?
I know, but it did like a few games, didn't he?
I think he played like, was it 2 or 3 or 4 games? But my understanding was he was having cigars on the bench.
Yeah.
You want me to go? Yeah, all right, coach, hang on. Let's go.
Yeah. I won't say it wasn't serious, but he didn't need to. He was just doing it for a bit of fun, wasn't he?
But yeah, look, it was again, I'm going to go back to how I started. What a team, what a setup, what an organisation, and what an exciting crowd. What an exciting game they have, game day. It is arguably better. No, it is better than some NBA games I've been to. I know it says something. The crowd are just up for it to watch a basketball game. It's like...
I wonder how that translates to watching it on TV.
We'll put a game on, Mark, and have a look.
No, I'm curious, like, if you watched another game and you'd be like, oh, I remember that chant, but it'll be much like we know.
They did do a few of the musics, the Portsmouth Force, but the crowd will, again, like what we're trying to do with all the like the in-game sounds and stuff.
Get interaction.
We don't know it in the UK.
No.
So I'm watching it and one cheering, but over there they were very much. I can't remember which one it was that they used, but they were like defense and or whatever it was, and I remember thinking, oh wow, America don't even do that for that one.
No.
But they've turned it into a defense chant, and I was like, okay, wow, I'm gonna nick that idea. What a great idea that was, and I'll get that. I'll play the MP3 to you, and start trying to get people to say defense for that. But again, in the UK, we're on that learning journey of what kind of crowd are we? Are we a Australian crowd and like an American crowd, very similar, or are we a European crowd where it's like a football event?
Well, when you said something to Chairman Rob on our last podcast when we were live at the scrimmage, and he actually said about he had some friends who come down. They haven't got any interest in basketball, but they come down because they went to show support the first time, and they went, oh, this is a great atmosphere, I had a nice time. So now they come down regularly because they actually just enjoy this is what I'm going to do on a Saturday night, because I know I'm going to have a nice time, and it's a nice atmosphere. Spend a couple of hours, watch a game. It's good love. And they suddenly gone, well, the atmosphere's here, and they are now basketball fans, and now they're like, oh, actually, I'm getting into it. So it's all about that whole entertainment thing. And obviously, you know,
Adelaide 36ers would blow your mind.
You were raving about it.
Anyone's mind. It is NBA standard.
That's brilliant.
Like,
I bet they'll be happy with to hear that.
If they've lasted this long, yeah.
Of course they have.
Of course they have. It is. I mean, obviously NBA games are like 20,000 and they're like 10,000, but other than volume, they got it all. They got it all. And you know what, Mark? We should. That's it. We should start the UK Adelaide 36ers appreciation fan club over in here. We should do that. The Talking Basketball podcast should be leading the way for supporting Adelaide 36ers.
The Magpie lovers. But we can't say that because that's Newcastle, isn't it?
Dunno. We just say if you don't listen to the Talking Basketball podcast, you don't support the Adelaide 36ers if you're in the UK.
Yeah, we can be, not I say in partnership with them, they can be twinned with us.
We are twinned,
We could twin with them. And Adelaide 36ers could be twinned with the Portsmouth Force.
Wow.
Imagine that.
Well, Dale,
if they want to trade some players,
over.
If they want to trade some players over, we'll trade some back.
He comes over. Yeah, let's do some trades.
Let's do some trades.
Let's have a look.
Let's get a couple of them over.
We can get we'll get for Trenton Flowers.
Some of the small guys like 6'8", 6'9".
Trey Kell.
Yeah.
And oh, hang on, Dejan Vasiljevic. Just get him over here.
Yeah, pop Dayan on the plane. Just pop them over. We'll be over for a few weeks. We'll get a couple of cup games out of the way.
But look, if you are travelling to Australia and you're in the Adelaide area, I warmly encourage you to go and watch a game. Take kids, they'll love it. My kids' minds were blown. They were just like, wow. They were just like, wow. They've been to UK games, they've been to an Australia game, and they're like, Dad, that is the best thing I've ever been to in my life. And I said to the one I always take to Pompey, that's the football. For anyone Australian listening, I said, what would you rather go to? If I said we can go to Fratton Park and you can watch Pompey play football, or we go to Adelaide and watch the 36ers play, what would you rather do? And he sat there for ages thinking about it, going, this is tough. And he goes,
tell me, you said Hungry Jacks as a response.
he thought about it for a long time, and he went, I don't know why I thought about this for so long. And I was like, okay, so what's the answer? And he went, Adelaide 36ers.
Wow.
And he said, he goes, and for him, he's 10.
Yeah.
For him to say it with the passion and go into the detail, he was like, Dad, I love the way they were doing this. I love the music. I love the loudness. I love the crowd. I like it when a three hits.
Yeah.
So a bit like what we do when a player scores, they do all that. When a three goes in, like whatever song they're playing, and all the streams coming out the baskets and stuff like that. He loved it. I do have one negative.
Whoa, Dale, cover your ears.
I have one negative.
Cover your ears, Dale.
And this won't make any sense to anyone in Australia.
He's writing this down. He's getting his pencil ready.
No, they won't
He's
change
like,
it.
I'm going to cross that guy off the list.
I'm assuming this is just part of their sport.
Next time Paul's over visiting family, he's like, hey, Dale, I'm over here. But like, you can just go and flip and do one, mate.
I can actually give you an actual example. So this classic is the buzzer, yeah?
Yeah.
No, not in Australia. Their buzzer's like really high pitch.
Oh, it's like, one of those.
Yeah.
Yo.
So when that first went off, I was like, what was that? Like, is that a fire alarm test or something? Because it was doing it quite a bit, and I was thinking, what's going on? Like, whoever's in charge of doing fire alarms today should be fired. Like, what's going on? And then Dale turned around and went, that's the buzzer. And I was like, I'm used to that buzzer. Real deep. So when someone's shooting at them.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, you don't want that, do you?
But no, it's once you're used to it, you're used to it. But it was like, to start off with, I was like, what is that?
That's disgraceful.
But it's all right. Once you get used to it, it's all right. But I think we like that. Because we've seen the NBA for so long, we have that purist view of don't change that. That sound is the best sound you can do for a buzzer.
Of course it is,
so you change it for us. We're like, oh, that sounds a bit weird.
Well, if you say the words, I'm going to hit a buzzer beater, you don't think of like a high pitched thing.
An air horn.
If a 3, 2, 1, that's what you think of. It is a very
I should
raw.
try to get an example for you, but yeah,
I'm sure we could look it online.
But that's not a negative aimed at anyone.
I imagine that's a league
just
thing,
the
isn't
league.
it?
Yeah. But that was the only thing out of the whole basketball experience that I had that was like,
Did you see any
that's a bit...
Did you see any badminton?
Zero badminton lines.
No paraphernalia.
Zero.
No rackets.
Zero.
Weren't badminton players waiting in the wings with
There's
their little
no
nets to put-
way you're getting badminton lines on Adelaide 36ers court.
Well, it's an entertainment centre. I wondered if they would. It was a false floor and they rolled stuff out, I guess.
It's not a sport, Mark. It's not entertaining, and that's why badminton isn't in the entertainment centre.
Do you think they might have, Australia have pretty tough things about getting in the country, like with fruit and stuff? Do you think they've said no badminton, just keep it out?
I'm fairly confident they've said
it's on the ban list.
If it's not a sport, you're not coming in, so badminton would be off the list.
It's actually on the, do you have anything in there? Fruit, veg, badminton rackets, right, you're getting searched.
But it was a wonderful experience to see what basketball is like in Australia, and I can only thank the Adelaide 36ers, thank Dale, for their hospitality. That
was very awesome of you guys. I reached out to you and was like, what's the chance that we could do something with the media? And it's very short notice, but I mean, your whole trip was planned pretty short notice. And then it was, hey, why don't we do something like that? And then you said, I've got tickets. I was like, let's just see what happens. And it just, we were talking not even weeks. And
oh no, we're talking days for that.
Yeah.
Like the kid, like literally we were in a, I know you were talking about kangaroos, but we're in a kangaroo thing, and I'm on the phone to Dale. Like, oh, if you can, that'd be brilliant. But you know what I loved about it? And this is where people this is standard in America, and it's nice to see that Australia are embracing, I'm going to say new media. It's probably the word I'd use.
Yep.
Whereas I think in England, it's like,
I don't think you'll mind me
catching
saying
up.
this. When we were speaking on the phone afterwards, you were still quite surprised how that, I'm not saying that you were sat there, but like, well, I'm here and I'm in the media booth, and this is what we do. We do podcasts, and we do have what was the numbers recently? It was like
35k, Mark. Like 35k last 30 days.
Yeah, and which is amazing, and thank you all for listening. And if you're listening this far, I thank you even more. But it is new media, and a lot of people don't realise that newspapers, the broadcast world, they have a way of doing things, and there's things that we're trying to get access to at the moment with the podcast relating to basketball, and for basketball in different countries, and for in our home country as well. But there are certain routes you have to go down, because they will put podcasting in with a broadcast, and we aren't broadcasting. It's a different thing. We're probably more closer to, as you said, the two guys who were given the alternative kind of commentary.
Yeah, be that.
We're closer to that, where we're not doing a blow-by-blow, and we're certainly not doing something live. Doing something live would be absolute chaos with us, quite frankly, because we're both fidgets and
I'm just doing that as you
highly
said,
inappropriate. So yeah, just trying to do those things would be difficult anyway. But just that whole new media thing of doing the podcasting, it's the response we've had from people, and you've said it, coming up and saying, look, it's like a conversation, and I'm part of the conversation.
It's like you're mates with people already, and they haven't met you.
Yeah.
They'll come up and go, oh, that thing you said like that, and I'm like, I look at them a little bit like, how do you know about that conversation? What?
Yeah, because
you stalking me? And it's like, oh yeah, no. And then it's like, oh, so what do you think about Newcastle Eagles?
Well, someone stopped me with my shirt on the other day and said, oh yeah, Michael Jordan is the best player in the world. I went, okay. He said, no, let me tell you why. And I was like, oh right, yeah. And he said, I listened to this podcast, and I was like, mm-hmm. He said, there's one, and there's some guys in Portsmouth. And I was like, you know that's me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, yeah, no, there's these two guys. I'm like, okay, you're not listening. I literally just said, I am that person you're talking about. But yeah. So, but Michael Jordan is the best anyway. And I thought, I'm not going to throw this one. I'm not throwing
Hang
this
on,
guy
he's
in.
now listening to this going, I was talking to that guy.
Yeah, it's like, he probably isn't. He's probably thinking, yeah, there was definitely something I saw pop up. But anyway, the whole point was, you were saying with media, it is funny how we have to navigate in different ways, and yet Dale and the media team and everyone there were so welcoming for you.
Well, they embrace it because, look, let's be honest. Like, when you're looking at, and I'm not saying this bragging, but when you're looking at like 35,000 in the last 30 days,
Yep.
it's like, you know, I think that would only be, sorry, hang on. It's only beneficial to talk about the BBL or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, you know, the Adelaide guys are going, okay, cool, brilliant. You're going to talk about the Adelaide 36ers and whatever you're going to say about us, but that's going to go out to an audience of people who are going to go, I want to go to that arena and hear Hungry Jacks, hungry, or whatever it is that people are going to do. And let's face it, the number of listeners at the moment are that home attendance that they're having times 3.5.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And it was only when I'm there going, wow.
Yep.
And was talking to some of the commentators and stuff. It was a bit like when I said podcast, it was like, oh, okay, what are the numbers like? And then when I said the numbers like, they were like, oh crap, that's quite a lot then.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And again, I'll go back to a comment I said a while back, and I think it was Elton John who said this. It's like, it doesn't matter if someone says something good or bad, as long as they spell your name right.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think at the moment, again, the NBA or the Australian stuff, they have that mentality of like, we want to just get out there.
Yeah, yeah. That's the way to do it.
Whereas in the UK, it really feels like
It's old media.
They got
Yeah.
a big
It's old media.
big wall built up and go, this is how we function.
Yeah.
And we don't know. I don't know. Let's see. We're trying to get into a few places.
We
so
are
let's
trying
see.
to, and you know, we've spoken about openly with BBL, and we're not. It's not critical in a bad way, but we are aware that because there is a pyramid of one, and it's their product, they want to very specifically handle the media around that. So we can understand that, where you have maybe different types of access and all those sort of things, and we'll work with them to figure a way out of stuff like that. But also with Basketball England, like you've said, and the bigger thing with GB, maybe with FIBA, maybe with all the sorts of things, international teams. I think there is a place for the podcasting to be able to access directly. You know, some of the people that you mentioned today to me are potentially people who we got coming up. That, you know,
I am nervous.
Yeah, for sure.
I am nervous. I don't know how I'm going to talk to this guy.
No, exactly, and that's just one of many. And you think now it's a case of we're going to start looking at people saying, well, we'd love to come and talk with you, but actually don't want to have that time. That's fine, because there are other people who'd love to come and have a chat with us. And
yeah, it's mental. Well,
I also had the second time we've had this, I won't say a backhanded compliment, but I still can't decide if it's a compliment or they need a slap. But one other person said to me, you guys are like an Anton Deck.
Oh.
And it's the second person who said that, because Mr. Chairman said that the first time.
Like they won like comedy awards for like 10 years in a row. So I'll take that as a compliment, Mark.
Yeah.
Just because one's got a massive forehead, ignore that bit.
Well, they both have, haven't they? And
I'll take it as a compliment.
and
They've done very well
But
for themselves.
They have done very well for themselves. But yes, someone said that, and I thought,
Take it as a compliment.
Take that.
So, yeah. But
Well, thank you very much, Adelaide, for hosting him.
and if you are in Adelaide, also, other than going to see the 36ers, go and get a chocolate milkshake from Hungry Jack's.
Now, I tell you what, if you are from Adelaide and you're coming over to the UK
Yes.
and you want to experience basketball,
come to the Portsmouth Force.
come to the Portsmouth
Oh,
Force.
sugar.
Drop a message to us at ukbasketballpodcast@gmail.com. We actually do have Talking Basketball at chestenterprises.co.uk as well. But
Hang on. Sorry, yeah, drop us a line.
drop us a line, because if there is a game and you happen to be on, you can come and have a chat with us.
There's last thing that I forgot about Adelaide 36ers that I wanted to show you. And I was so disappointed I couldn't pick up one of these jerseys.
Jerseys.
So one of your things, this dark blue one that I'm wearing now,
Yeah.
that's the home kit.
Oh,
Yeah, they wear that at home.
Dark blue's home.
Yeah, so the
Intriguing.
opposite to the NBA. When they travel away, they wear this but white.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's the same thing, but home they wear colour, away they wear white. I'm assuming that's what it is anyway. From the
Okay.
games I've seen, that's what it is.
Okay.
However, there is a third kit.
Yep.
This might be the greatest kit of all time. I've got a picture of it here. Now, obviously, you've got in Australia the Aboriginal culture.
Yes.
They took some of the Aboriginal art and turned it into a kit. And on it, it says Ghana.
Yep.
I'm sure it says Kana. Some people say Kana. I'm not sure. Ghana or Kana. I think it's Ghana, which stands for Adelaide in Aboriginal.
Okay.
Here's the kit. What do you think of this? Boom.
Ooh.
I love that kit.
It's vibrant.
You need to process it for a while.
Yeah.
I wanted to
like
get that kit. There you go.
like,
Let you look at it.
It's like a beaded pattern, like a not mandala. Yeah, that's
Aboriginal art, Mark.
yeah, very cool.
I loved
It
it.
ties. It really ties nicely in with the colours, actually.
I went to get one of those in the stadium, in the arena when I was there.
Yeah.
And I went to the shop and I was like, have you got this? And they were like, sold out. I'm like, no way. And I was like, what about around the other side? And they were like,
yes way, mate.
sold out everywhere. And I'm like, oh no. And then she's like, the only place you're going to get that will be online now.
That
And
is very
I was a
true.
little bit disappointed because that's why I like this top, because I'm wearing this Adelaide top and it's like I got this in Australia and I literally bought it and this is an Australian top. Whereas sometimes when you buy it online, it's like, has that come from Australia? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, there's something to you got that, and you put a hand on it. So
But
that's
a cool kit. I love that kit. I wanted to get it
Never
because
seen-
no one else is going to have a kit like that.
Nah, I've never seen one like that before.
But yeah.
Ah, that's very good. Well, and so ends the Adelaide edition.
Well, apologies for it being late, but I had to get on a 21-hour flight, and then someone infected me with germs, and I wanted to hopefully come across with as much passion that.
But you said when the guy infected you, you called him a piece of, and you said that he should definitely go in himself.
Yes,
But the main thing is that.
if you have germs, don't cough on a plane.
Well,
Hold
what
your
am I going
breath.
to do? Just
Go.
that's one way to do it. Well, so ends another edition.
Yeah. So Adelaide, thank you. Thank you for your hospitality. Thank you for having amazing fans. And thank you for having a great organisation. And lastly, if you live in the Adelaide area and you got some spare time and you've not seen the 36ers play, you need to get down there and see them. What an atmosphere. What an organisation. Let's go Sixers!
Well, so ends another edition of Talking Basketball Podcast. I've been Mark. Thank you very much for listening. Don't forget to go back and check out all the other episodes. We've got 57 of them out now. Please
Wow.
contact us on our email, ukbasketballpodcast@gmail.com. I've been Mark.
I have been Paul. Goodbye!
Goodbye.